Well, it is amazing to be in Sedona and to be with a group of people who are interested in exploring life and consciousness. And Sedona is an amazing place, isn't it? The scenery, the incredible rocks and the earth and the energy is just magical to be here, and I felt very blessed to be here and to be with you all. So I just wanted to talk a little bit today about love and fear, because I've been a psychotherapist, a teacher, a healer for many decades now, and it's an amazing time to be alive on the planet. There's a lot happening, and the whole issue of love and fear seems to be up more than ever. And I talk to people and work with people every day who are feeling consumed with fear and the effects of it in their life, on their body, in themselves. And that has also been my lifelong struggle. I joined the ranks when I was 12 years old of the people who always thought the worst thing was going to happen. I didn't have the luxury of a carefree childhood and youth where I thought nothing could happen to me. My brother, who I adored, walked out the door on his 18th birthday and never came back. And our family, which wasn't very functional to start with, became seriously dysfunctional from there. 6 weeks later, I nearly died in a house fire. And 6 months after that, my mother got cancer. So it's interesting that now, in my later decades, I'm still tracking the effects of post-traumatic stress disorder in my life and still recognising how it plays out. And in fact, my son sometimes says to me, "Is that your PTSD, Mum?" I say, "Yep, that's pretty much it today." So it's an ongoing journey and a dance that I've lived my life with and devoted my life to helping others with. It's great that in this day and age we're talking a lot more about and understanding the effects of trauma on the nervous system and on the brain, and how that sets people up for lifelong symptoms, which I still find I'm often prone to judging myself for. So I judge myself for getting cranky. I judge myself for being a bit snappy sometimes. I judge myself for getting triggered. And that can still happen, which is interesting to me. Last year I bought myself a little dog, and as I said to my friend, it turns out you can buy love. It's quite expensive. Has 4 legs. It's called Molly. So I bought myself some love. I was finding it a bit thin on the ground. And what was interesting was I was out watering my garden, and I was kind of tracking that having a little 8-week-old furry creature was making me anxious. And I was just watering my garden on a sunny evening, and I heard this phrase run through my mind: "Not everybody's had the police knock on the door in the middle of the night." And I went, "Whoa, that's like 50 years later, right?" And in that moment, I just stood there and I went, "That's right, sweetheart, they haven't. And you have, and we're okay, and I've got you." So it's not that it never goes away, and it is that it can be easily re-triggered in our human brains and nervous systems. And I've made that my life's work, studying the human brain and the nervous system, because I work with them most days of the week. And I work with my own every day of the week. And it is a conscious attention that I need to pay to how I am able to be and feel safe in the world. There's a lot going on in the world, and basically it's not a very safe world for a human in a physical body on planet Earth right now. And yet, statistically they say that we're actually safer now on the planet than we were 1,000 years ago in terms of the numbers of people and the amounts of accidents happening. I find that reassuring. I thought you might too. So, it's something that we need to pay attention to often, is feeling safe in our lives. So the human brain gets programmed very early in our lives, in the first 3 years, and we think now also in the womb itself. And most people, and many psychologists actually, still will equate the contents or the programs that your brain is running with, one, your personality, and two, who you are. And I've really come to conclude over my many years of practice and inner exploration that this is not the case. The brain is a physical organ, wired up by your experiences and pretty much wired up by your parents' brains. And that's going to give you pause, isn't it? Like, we really do have to think about what we noticed about mum and dad. How reactive were they? How addicted were they? How present were they? And could they say the magic words, "I love you"? And when they said them, could you feel them? Most people I talk to have a version of the story of, I know my parents love me, and the next word is, but. I know my parents love me, but. And then there follows a story of the various experiences or limitations their parents had that meant that it was very hard for them to feel the love. And basically, whatever was happening, whatever the emotional tone of the life in your family in the first 3 years, whatever that looked like, you were probably told that was love. We're just doing it because we love you. You know, of course we love each other. You love your little sister, don't you? Of course your father loves you, but he's just very busy right now. Of course I love you, I'm just blah, blah, blah. Right? So everybody in the world really wants love, needs love, because we know that love is the bigger energy. But what I know with my clients and people I meet is that they have been programmed, and their inner experience in life is fear is the bigger energy. Everything on the TV is screaming at you that fear is the bigger energy. Everything in your body often, depending on your life, may be screaming at you that fear is the bigger energy, because the fear part of the brain can just take over and hijack everything. It sends these messages in half the blink of an eye. You actually don't have choice when you're triggered. Your nervous system just goes and your frontal lobe shut down and you get ready for fight, flight or freeze. I personally am a freezer, which means that you go deer in the headlights, can't speak, can't think, can't function. So to move ourselves from that space of reaction where we don't have any choice, because our brain is programmed to do that, to the space where we have a choice to say, you know what, I can love myself through this. I choose love. I have vowed and declared to take care of this woman. She is my responsibility. It's no one else's job to make her feel worthy, safe, happy. It's lovely when people come and join the party, but it is my job to be with her. And to do that, I need to be present, like a loving parent, and I need her to be able to feel my love. Really feel it. So just breathe that in for a minute. Because when we talk about can we feel love, that we should love ourselves, I find that most people are very confused about what that means. And basically, for many people, love is a matter of judgment. And if you find someone who will judge you well enough, then you might feel good enough in their presence and they'll feel good enough in yours to call that love. And one of the things I've found really helpful is to make a real distinction between the difference of approval, seeking approval, which is good girl, good boy, you've done well, to I see you, I hear you, I appreciate you, I love acknowledging who you are, I love noticing how you live your life. I am so interested in what's happening for you. I care about how you feel. I care about how life feels to you. for you. Can you feel that? That's love, right? And I find, very sadly for me, that many people have never heard that language spoken. They literally have not heard the language of love. They've heard approval or disapproval, mostly more disapproval. And they've spent their lives running after approval. What hit me one day is if you're running after approval, you're actually running away from love. Because approval is judgment. And judgment separates us from love. And if you notice what happens when somebody says, good job, good work, good on you, go, you go, good, right. Does it last? Does it feel like it feeds you? No, we don't trust it. We don't trust it because we know it feels like judgment. And our soul, our being, our inner one, little one knows that love feels different than that. Love feels safe. Love feels peaceful. Love is really interesting. Love is juicy. Love is never boring. Love always feels good. That bullshit about I'm only being kind to be cruel to be kind or whatever it is, or I've got to hurt you in order to love you, that can't be true. You knew that, didn't you, when you were little? Going, this can't be true. Love doesn't feel like that. It feels so my tummy, and now we know the brain really, they're calling it the second brain, but in terms of emotions and feelings, the gut is the first brain, right? Because that's where you feel everything first, isn't it? You feel sometimes your top brain doesn't even know anything's happened, but your gut's in a knot. Your system's when you go, something appears to have upset me. My frontal lobes currently have no idea what that might be, but my gut's already got the memo and sending bow waves all through my system, right? Love makes our tummy feel warm and full and free. Now, for those of us who lived a childhood where we actually never were able to feel that, and I count myself among that group, healing and loving the gut, amazingly, it's a really important part of self-love. And here's a little first clue that I teach many people, which is just if you're having a moment, the first thing to do is rub your belly and rub your heart. Because for your vagus nerve, which is the part that actually sends the calming chemicals through the brain, these are the two hot spots. And your tummy doesn't care if it's your hands or somebody else's. It just loves that feeling. Sends whole calming through the vagus nerve. It's just a handy hint. So I've really devoted my life to, my working life and my personal life, to teaching and sharing with people about much of their confused thinking about what love is and how it feels, and how to actually step into an experience of love feeling bigger than fear. Because we can have a belief that love should be bigger than fear, but if we can't feel it, it becomes another should somehow. So stepping ourselves into that space where we can plant our feet on our mother, this amazing planet that we love so dearly, Arm 2B of the Milky Way galaxy. No, Arm 2A of the Milky Way, which is our solar system, which is on Arm 2B of our galaxy. I just love knowing our intergalactic address. Sometimes I need to remind myself where I am. So when we plant our feet knowingly on our mother and we feel her love and we feel her peace, and when we contemplate spirit, source, energy, whatever it is that is lighting up every electron in our body, is lighting up this field around us, whatever that is, wherever that comes from, we do know in our cellular system that it made everything and that it's in everything. And when we think about what makes fear or where fear comes from, we kind of bring our vision straight back into the brain. So I love to take people through experiences where we really deliberately choose to step into the love that we have always known exists everywhere. And sometimes we just have to decide that everything we've been taught about ourselves and love needs to be questioned, needs to be thought through again. It really isn't good enough to live our adult lives with the thinking of a 3-year-old, which is, I'm not good enough, I can't do it, everybody's bigger and better than me, I don't know what to do, I can't make my own decisions. It doesn't work well in an adult life. And we can't always get it right because there really isn't a right to get. So stepping ourselves into the space where we can be in our body and feel that power of the energy that is everything and is every cell of our body and is our true nature, assists the brain, assists the nervous system to become calm and allows us to meet ourselves where we are. Because all that love that we've been wanting and searching for, it is already here, but can seem so inaccessible in a world where we judge ourselves, criticise ourselves, leave ourselves, hurt ourselves, ignore ourselves, discount ourselves. So today I've just wanted to share with you the experience of the difference between love and fear. Fear is an emotion, an idea, a concept. Love is an experience of all that is true and of who we truly are. Thank you.